Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, a site where you can get curated information about job hunting, but more valuable than that, you can ask me questions about your job search. And today I want to talk with you about the job market. There's a couple of interesting things in the report that on the surface you wouldn't notice. When the news reports, the job market report, they always talk with what's called the headline numbers, the numbers of new jobs created and the unemployment percentages. So the number of new jobs created was 255,000, and the unemployment rate remained the same at 4.9%. The stats on the labor market were adult men and women remained unchanged in their rates. Same with teens at 15.6%. By the way, adult men 4.6%, women 4.3%. Teens 15.6%. If you were white, 4.3% unemployment. Black 8.4%, Asian 3.8%, Hispanic 5.4%. Now, there are a couple of interesting things in there. So I'll just simply say the participation rate is the same at 62.8%. Interestingly, the number of people unemployed 5 weeks or less was down by 250,000. That's an unusual statistic, and one the government tends not to report on. If you're at a work, the goal is to be out there like a banshee trying to find work. But I'm wondering if some of those 250,000 are camp counselors. People who maybe in high school and college, they're off for the summer, they announce themselves unemployed, and now they have a job. So I'm sure some of those are counselors. Within the numbers, the biggest segment of growth has been in professional and business services. In July, that was up 70,000, and for the last 12 months, plus 550, of which of the 70,000, 37,000 were in technical services. If you managed people in technical services, you were plus 6. And there's another category that really, I forget what it's called, that really occupies the rest. Healthcare, plus 43. Leisure and hospitality, 45. That's where the camp counselors, I think, show up. Food services, plus 21. And my all-time favorite, government workers, up 38,000. Interestingly, usually the government levels this out. They make adjustments to the numbers because, after all, teachers disappear in June and they get hired later. Well, they may have been hired in July and gotten a little bit of money because the way the government statistics work, if you work 1 hour, you're employed. And that's a new job. And of course, there's the classic thing, professional and business services. Does that include campaign workers for elections? Don't know. But that's the big classification of growth, 70,000 workers in July. Now, if you're a job hunter, in certain fields, you're finding that there's a market for what you do. Unlike a few years ago where people were sitting around at home waiting for the phone to ring, now the phone is ringing, and they have some choices. But firms are remaining remarkably particular in terms of who they hire. They list out 15 qualifications, and they damn well want 15 qualifications. So it's not enough to sit around on your laurels of achievement. By the way, a lot of the growth, as you saw in professional business services, is in skilled labor. Unskilled labor, they're kind of invisible in the report. And one of the anomalies here is, of course, the labor market has lots of part-time professionals in it now. If you're an Uber driver, if you drive for Lyft, you do errands for TaskRabbit, you're not a contractor to them, even though they may decree you're a contractor. You may be being paid as an individual and having a job created. You're not an LLC, you're not a corporation. That's a job in the report. So, some of these jobs are not great jobs. They're not full-time jobs. They're things that people may want or not want. There are a lot of people who would rather have a full-time job rather than working 4 hours at Home Depot. Follow where I'm going with this? So we don't know whether these are full-time or part-time jobs, because the government doesn't really share that statistic. They treat all jobs as being the same, even though you're driving for someone I know who's doing, they drive for Uber and Lyft, and they are trying to build a professional practice. So the result winds up being, if he's reporting his income in building his practice, I don't know that that's a job, because I don't know if he's set up as an employee paying taxes, but let's assume it's not a job, it's a business. So that's one business, and he drives for Uber and Lyft, and that's two jobs. Two jobs. So, there are a lot of jobs that are being created that are really very flimsy. And for you as an employee of a firm where you have a full-time job, I simply say to you, like I always do, you have to keep your skills current, because that's the currency of the labor market, is great skills. And you have to make that investment in yourself, because fewer and fewer employees are paying for it. So you have to budget that money, otherwise get left in the dust and have commoditized services that no one values. You need to prepare for the next recession, because as I'm looking at my watch, the next recession is not that far off. Why do I say that? Because what's perceived as being a recovery has been going on for 8 years, and that's usually the longest cycle in a recovery. So this isn't a political statement. It doesn't mean if Trump is elected, we're going to avoid it. It doesn't mean if Clinton is elected, we're going to avoid it. They never go on for a decade, let alone 12 years. So you have to think like a business owner. What can I do to make myself valuable, not just to my employer, but to the market in general, so I can head off the potential impact of a recession? In addition, is there something I can be doing on the side and generating some revenue that will help cushion me and buy me time, or entirely replace my full-time job if that's what I choose to do during the downturn? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying, if you go out there and buy real estate, that's your way. I'm not selling you anything. I want to be clear. Your goal is to think of yourself as being, the chairman or chairwoman of a corporation, of a business for which you are the primary shareholders, and your family and or cat or dog are the shareholders who also serve on the board. What can you be doing as a wage earner to protect yourself and your shareholders, so that when the economy goes south, you're ready? Now, if you're out of work, I'm telling you, you can find work now, but I'm going to encourage you that you can get great advice and ask me questions at jobsearchcoachinghq.com. It's an inexpensive site. We get access to great information that's good anywhere in the English-speaking world. So come over to jobsearchcoachinghq.com, join, and I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.